Let's go out to the garden. Well, actually, let's go out and see what Buck took from the garden, okay? I have a bouquet of flowers for you sitting in a transparent clear vase, and I want to show you how I have done it. And we'll do it together, okay? Haven't done it, we're going to do it. Let me show you at the palette the color that I've put over the whole drawing. This is 2 white, that's just titanium soft white, 1 yellow ochre, and then a touch of phthalo blue. I'm taking this with a 1-inch brush, and I've put this on the canvas earlier, as you can see. The one thing that I've done is I reserved the white canvas where the flowers will be, because I want each one of them to have a little bit different background. I might say also that I did put some Magic Clear on the whole canvas without paint, and then I came back and put the paint on. So it made it very easy to spread the paint around. I'll use the same brush, the 1-inch brush, and we'll come down where I have, let's see, I think I've wiped away the notes. I have blue and black equal parts and 6 parts white. When I say that, I better say it this way. The blue and black together become 1 part. See, they're equal, 1 part, and then into 6 parts of white. This will be pushed on the corner, top corner, move it towards the flowers, come over on the left corner, same way, and then we'll come down along the sides of the canvas a little bit. Ooh, you're generous, so we'll just borrow some of you, put over in the sides like that. We'll see if I have enough or too much. As you spread it around, this will give a lot of contrast in the flowers themselves by having the darker on the edges. If I needed to take some of that off, probably the easiest way to do it would be just to wipe a little bit. That smooths down enough. If I want a feeling of the ochre sort of in there with the blue, so the blue isn't taking over too much. Down here again, it looks pretty strong, but you're working wet on wet, so see how that works? You spread it around, and that's the nice thing about working in this technique. I will use this blue for one other purpose, besides coming down here, just hitting a little bit there. Oh, I have 2 more purposes. Let's put this one on, since I still have some on the brush. We'll put this on as a beginning of the shadows in the vase. I'm sure you can see the pencil line through the yellow ochreish tone. There's a handle over here. This is all very transparent looking, and we'll add a few lights a little bit later. Okay, now where I want to use this color further, let's blend just a little bit there, is when I put just a little bit of a misty, ghosted look of the leaves. And you're going to say, well, I don't see leaves when you're doing this. That's right. It's just a slight feeling where the leaves will go, and then when we have the leaves on, this will give just a little less than starkness. Okay. Spread that around. No special character on that. We'll be putting character on the leaves. I'm going to quickly run down and pick up the bunny brush without any paint on it. And we'll come up just for the quality of blending. So the blending will be very helpful for showing clarity within and the ethereal soft look off stage. Okay, now let's go ahead and put some background on some of those flowers. We have several different colors to do. I'll take first with the red. Let's take a little bit of permanent red and alizarin crimson. Let's try equal parts. This is a badger brush, and we'll push this, I'll put first where it's going to go. There, there, there's 1 flower in there, and a little bit, let's see, we have a yellow one there, a little bit there. Okay, now I'll do one of these so you know what we're doing. And we're pushing this around, and as I do this, I'll go a little bit over the pencil line, past the pencil line. The pencil line's only showing you where you want to go, and you make that line as faint as possible so you don't have to worry about it popping through your color. Mine may pop through a little bit, but when we put quantity of the next color on, it certainly will take care of any pencil line. This is all going to be done as putting on the colors that we want for the base color of the flowers, and then we'll come back, work them up a little bit, work them up a little bit more. Let's go next to the white flower, and as I do the white flower, let's see, I have some violet and white. Let's do that. That's a very pretty color. Violet and white. And let's come up to the white one. We'll have a white one here. You think, well, gee, how can that be white when you're using violet? That's the interior, the shadows areas. So we're going to push this around, and then we need to have a couple yellow ones. You know, it's interesting when people go into the business of flower arranging, and I mean, there are some experts out there. Let's get our color here first. Yellow, let's take a little bit of, I have a color here that's yellow ochre, deep orange, and burnt sienna. Let's use that. That'll be the inside of this. But some people are so trained in flower arranging, and there's a real science in it. I don't claim that there isn't. And I want to tell you a few things about flowers as I know them. And then, of course, those that know a little bit more, fine, you just go ahead and enhance it. But this will give this bouquet a great start if we get some vitality in there with color. What do we have? We have still, I need to spread those out, and we have a couple pink ones. On the pink ones, I'll use a little red and white. Where we used alizarin in red, now we're using red and white. So we'll push this around on that one. And there's just a little partial one there, and I guess we have one more down in this area. Okay, now I'm going to do one other thing before we come back to the flowers. The color that I used just a minute ago for under the yellow flowers, ochre, orange, and burnt sienna, we'll push this down on the table. This will go across the table there, and we'll also have some up on top of the table. I'll spread that out just a little bit more. And then on the right side, we're going to use the same color, but it has an equal amount of violet in it. And that's right down in the palette here. We're still using just the Badger brush. I wonder if I had changed brush since we're in a large area, bunny brush. This almost looks like burnt sienna, but it's a little softened with the mixtures. This will go on the table edge, and we haven't established any shadows under the table edge yet, so this is just kind of blocked in. Okay, do we need to do anything else right now? It looks just, we'll kind of ignore the lower part of it because we're not finished there. Let's go to the, oh, I know, we'll come up to the leaves just to start a little bit. This is, we have quite a combination here. This is yellow and violet. Here I have some blue and ochre. And then over here I have some yellow and white and blue. So let's go with the blue and ochre. I'm going to give you one stroke that you will love to watch happen. As we come up to the canvas, now watch this. First I'll just kind of push in so we get a little bit of darkness there. And then when we start getting the character, if we draw a little line where we want it. Now watch the stroke. I have quite a lot of juice on this. And when I say juice, it's Magic Clear. And then I'll flatten it. I want you to see the stroke. There. See that stroke? You're just laying down, but I'm going to do something else to it. There it is. You lay it down, flatten out, and as you lift, the front edge tips it just a little bit. But if you do it fast, boom. And then down this way, same thing. I'll just show you first like that. That's the stroke, but you're just kind of slightly pulling them and going like that. And you do a lot of these quickly and accidentally. You push them around. Some you just kind of dance around even without putting a line in first. Isn't that fun? That is so fun. We'll do more of these. I'll just keep tapping these around, but we'll zero in again so you see them happen more close up. Okay, let's go ahead just a little bit on this side. We want to have a little bit of dark there. We're going to have a nice contrast on the vase very soon, okay? I want to go ahead with the flowers, and we'll start building just a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit of white with the red, and this will be used with a brush. I will come later with a knife, but this will give just a slight bit of character. So we're going to build up just a little bit opaque-ish looking, and this will help so that when we put on our highlight, there'll be a nice contrast because we can always step just a little bit higher. And when I say higher, I mean a little bit lighter. I'm very conscious of the stroke representing the petals, and that's always helpful, isn't it? Represent the petals so it doesn't look like a foam pattern out there on a flower. We have a little bit on this one. And then when you go up to the, of course, the lighter ones, which are more pinkish, we'll go ahead with more white on them. And you're still staying away from the lightest, which would be white. Okay, this will be just a little touching on these edges. You're always conscious of where the light's coming from. And the light is coming from the left. Let me just wipe that a little bit, and you will see a strong indication of where the light comes from. And when I wipe out the light, there's just a little subtlety that is very helpful. I'm wiping out with a slight curve because the outside of the edge represents that. This is really parallel to that. And then, of course, the type of light you have wiped out tells you also what's the source of the light. And in this case, it's a window, and you get a long, tall window, and that's certainly what you get. I'm going to go ahead and put some highlight on that light area. This is white with a little pure cadmium yellow. And we'll put this on kind of boldly, and that means heavily. Boldly doesn't mean you're just running up and go boom, because we want to place it correctly. This I love that little pink that was left in the brush. Do that on purpose. If you didn't have pink in the brush, you add a little pink. What I was going to say, I have a little yellow and white, which means that you still have a chance to go a little bit lighter, which would be with the pure white. So your lights or your darks, you always have the chance to either step up lighter or go a little darker for accents. Let's go ahead with that idea of pink. Further on the vase. Is that a vase? Sure it is. Here's the handle. Now we'll put this down for reflected light. That's pretty. And I'm using the flat badger to do this. I think I'll just stay around in this area just a little bit. Just a slight feeling of see-through there. And then we'll take and put some darks on the handle and around there. And what I'll do on that will be 2 blue and 1 black. 2 phthalo blue and 1 black. And we'll put some up in here. You almost cut across a handle across a leaf a little bit. This blends out quite nicely as it comes down. We will blend across that slightly, so you won't really see the top edge there. A little bit of this, it's a little hard to tell whether that represents leaves or the darkness of seeing through leaves on the other side. Doesn't matter. Right now we just want the dark, and then we'll put some character in front on top of it. We'll put a little bit dark over here, and I'll come down just a little bit on the edge of the vase so you see more the outline of that. This started out as just a bouquet to give my wife. And then you might ask, what was the occasion? Was it a case of where it was a birthday, an anniversary? Or had Bucky and the missus argued? No, we don't do that. Anyway, it was a day that I thought she'd like to have flowers. I have quite a feeling that I wanted to pass on to you, and that's this. Do you need a calendar? Do you need a calendar that tells you when to say I love you? My goodness. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I love the Alexander Art Company because they put me on the calendar. And we go over to October. Isn't that great? But there's no date on the calendar that says give a bouquet to Carolyn. You can say I love you any day. It's nice to have National Prayer Day, National Be Nice to Animal Day and all that. But what about the other 364 days of the year? Doesn't the blending help that? And you soften right into there too. Oof, that's pretty. Okay, let's go ahead and then we'll build up a little bit more on the flowers. We want to come with the other flowers. When we come to the yellow flowers, notice we go to pure yellow now. And this is going to also be with a brush. We'll come back later with a knife, but right now we're putting this on with a brush. I just love what happens when you state things with about 3 different values. The first tone, and then sort of towards the pure color, and then the little glints of highlights. Let's go with one more up in here. Ooh, did you see that amount of paint? We'll use you. You came, we'll use you. You want to be part of the team, you're there. I like that. Quantity. That's the solution. Isn't it nice to have a serendipitous stroke? Fortuitous for the 2 of us. Boom. Okay, now on the white ones, I'm going to change a little bit. I want to use a knife. It'll be a little easier because we're going to go quite light. When I do this, I'll go down with the white, and I'll hopefully have just a little bit of the pink still on the brush or the palette. Okay, let's use just a little more pink right in there. And we use this up in here. Now I'm going to, again, boy, you done set the pace. You told us to use quantity. And push over into the neighbor a little bit. It doesn't matter if you pick up a little red or pick up a little yellow. This one has to be quite dominant because it's going to be the contrast of dark against the white, and then also anything that's in the middle of the canvas. Your eye is going to be drawn there. It's the same way when you have somebody, we have a group picture and they all jump there. The one standing in the middle is the one you look at first, isn't it? Okay, so let's come with the same knife stroke. On this one, I'm making a little stronger down below and not quite so much on the interior. So we have a little difference in importance. You're more important than that one. Well, I don't know. I think that red one is holding hands with both of you, so I can't tell for sure. I'm scraping a little bit away, just slightly scraping it away and flattening it out. And I do want to do one other thing. Let's show you what this accomplishes. Let's take some alizarin and a little bit of that table color, and we'll go up to the middle of the flowers and we'll put just a little bit of this into the yellow ones. What about into the red ones? Sure, we can put a little bit in there too. And even there. Okay, now I'll wait just a minute. What about you? You need to have something in there. What about a little blue? Let's take, this is blue and white. I like that. Phthalo blue and white. Just a little in there. So it's kind of like wearing a little nice scarf around a pretty shirt. Okay, I think we'll leave that for a moment, and we'll come down and go ahead with a few leaves. We'll take the old badger brush again, and now I'm going to go a little bit lighter. This is yellow and white with just a touch of blue. A lot of juice on it. And we have some of these so they show up just slightly more than what's there. So you have a dark, and then you come in with a little bit lighter. We want some of these to stay out there as contrast on the edges. And what this will do will be just more on the interior ones, so you feel like there are some leaves in there. Okay, let's put a few leaves down by the lower one. We have just blue and yellow ochre, and we'll put them down here. See that same stroke? Just like that. Just touch it a little bit. Ooh, that one was nice because it had a little yellowish tone still on the brush. This is going to be very fun to deliver this to somebody, isn't it? I'm delivering it to all of you. You get what you can from it. You know what's so neat? I don't know if it's a color or a personality, but all of a sudden I feel rejuvenated. Let's take some of this color. This is yellow with a little blue and ochre that we put up earlier for the leaves. And notice what needs to be done. Gosh, we have a flower setting there. Get your hands ready because it's going to fall off the table unless we put a little stem along over in here. See? We need to have that, don't we? I might put just a little dark under that so it will have a little form to it. Same color, blue and ochre, but less white. And just draw this across over there. You can be very curvy on that. I'll blur that just a little bit. Now I need to have a little line that comes right under the edge there so you feel like there's an edge to the table. I'll take this same color that I put over here, the ochre, orange, burnt sienna, and violet, which was right in there. But now we'll put it just as a little line in here, a little line there. And then to make a feeling like there's a top of the table, I'll take a little bit of my, what color is this? This is yellow ochre and white. Yellow ochre and white, how about a touch of red? Why not? Put this right over in here, we'll go right along there, and that becomes the top edge of the table. A little bit of the near edge. So you're always thinking of form. You feel like there's a top, there's a side, and there's a lower edge to the table or to any object. Let's go then to the flowers. The flowers are going to be very much fun because now we can use the knife. We'll establish our center of interest first. We said that we want to have a strong interest up in the middle there, so we'll come down with yellow and white. I have the white there, pick up a little yellow. Now with a knife, mixing with a knife, painting with a knife. And we'll have a strong glow here. You know what is such an important thing to do? Even though you know you're going to put it on with power, there's going to be a lot of light. Look at that. Gently done. And then up above. And this is one thing that I find is so important, because otherwise you start painting caricatures. Everything gets boom, boom because of what you feel about it. But you have to relate it to the total ensemble, to everyone that's connected there. How does it relate to them? Ooh, I like that. It's got just a little yellow in it too. So don't be afraid to put it on, and don't be afraid if it mixes together with some of the other colors. We have enough there. On the yellow and white ones, we'll just come down with almost the same thing, yellow and white, but the contrast will be less because it's not against the dark. See, we have dark against light there. Here we just have some light. Ooh, just a slight bit. It doesn't lighten us quite as much, but it does a little bit, just a little peaky one. Boy, I like you. You know, I didn't intend to like you, but I do. And you know why I like it? Because he says, I am important. And I think that's so important. It isn't what someone else thinks about you, it's what you think about yourself. I'm important. And you say, oh, you are? Oh, yeah, you are. Okay, let's go back to the flowers. Okay, pink. We'll put a little bit of red and white on. And here we have the knife again. Let's go a little bit more white. On the way up, I just wanted to look at you just for a minute. You're important too. I'll guarantee you, if you weren't there, I wouldn't be here. Isn't that neat? It's almost like a shadow. I'm your shadow. You're there and I'm there, but please stay, okay? Here comes, do you understand all that I just said? I do. A little stronger here, just a little bit with a knife, a little bit here, a little bit down on the edges. It helps give a little more character because you can peek in and you can look underneath there. Okay, a little bit up here. Now, I'll tell you one thing that will help this is that we come down, pick up the badger brush, some leaf color, and what we want to do is kind of separate the flowers a little bit with, this is blue and ochre. We'll come up and we'll push these back a little bit. See, I'll do the same stroke, flatten and push. I need to go a little darker than that. More of the blue. I'll touch a violet too. I hope you weren't trying to follow me there on the palette. Boom. So you're pushing that flower back slightly by doing this, and we'll just keep jumping down and doing same leaf area, color area. What about this one? Oh, just a little bit, just slightly. See, then you all of a sudden have them setting in the back row and some in the front row. I don't see a need for any down here, but let's go ahead and put a few down here. Now, we talked about this earlier, needing some, and we're going to go darker. Here's violet. Let's take violet. This is a little blue, black, and violet. And we'll use a little bit of thinner with it. And we have, now see in this area, just slightly darker. So there's a contrast. A little bit here. We might even let this come down a little lower so we have some on the front of the vase. Okay, do we need any extra darks? That's always the question you ask. Even though we put character and leaves around there, here we're just going to put dark for the sake of being dark. A couple of these like this. Okay, I have a couple other things that I want to be sure and accomplish. One will be taking just violet and white, corner of the brush, badger brush, and we'll just tap around. Just tap around. This is a nice effect. And I'll do the same thing with yellow and white. It gives us just a little bit of a spray. Sometimes it's like, I don't know what they call that, but they put those around there. Somebody out there would say, Buck, don't you know? No, I forgot. But isn't that pretty? A little bit of violet and a little bit of that. And then let's come with a stronger light, like we said, on the vase. Pure white, and we're using a knife. And we'll come right up, and we'll put that right as an impact in there. Now, when you put on a strong light like that, because you had an earlier light on, you don't have to blend that much because it's going light on top of light. I will flatten it a little bit, though, just to make it just a little more glassy. Isn't that pretty? I can use a little bit of that light. The light that would hit there would also hit over here. Would change to a twiggy brush. It's one thing different on glass as compared, let's say, or earthenware or metal. On glass, you sort of put the line on and leave it. You can find the definite shape of the pattern of either light, reflected light, or the dark. And that happens on glass. Okay, let's see what we might still do on this. So of course we have baby's breath. I remembered what it was. See, I was so close to the canvas. I was talking and it came back and I thought, baby's breath. Oh, it's great when you get this inspiration. However it comes. Let's put just a little bit more of the baby breath in there. I took some pink and white, violet and white, and we'll come up and we'll put a little bit around in here. And notice I'm doing it with a knife too. So there's no rule of which brush you have to use or which instrument you paint with, as long as you know where it goes and the amount. And of course, you get so many nice accidental qualities that help you as you do this. I'm going to take a little bit of alizarin crimson. Alizarin crimson, do you want to come up alone? Do you want to come with a little violet? Let's put you over with a little violet. Not much. That's about 3 alizarin and 1 violet. And we can establish just a little stronger contrast. See, we have that light against the dark, and then let's make a true dark. Isn't that pretty? Ooh, I love this. I love richness of color. And this paint is non-toxic. So when you say, oh, I feel like I could eat that, hey, you could. And sometimes you do come and look at the mirror and it feels like you've been maybe eating a little bit. Gosh, I've sure enjoyed being with you and doing this painting. It's one that I think that you'll find great joy in doing. I have just a little more pure alizarin crimson. You'll find great joy in doing because you will be able to use color, you'll be able to use a brush, you'll be able to use a knife, and you will make something that you can gift to someone on their special day.